It started with a question nobody expected to answer that day. What would you do if the person who needed help the most was the last person anyone would stop for? That question hung in the air of a quiet neighborhood street on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, until 4 motorcycles rolled in and changed everything. The deep rumble of engines cut through the stillness, like a storm finding its way through a cracked window. 4 riders came in slow, their dark vests carrying the kind of reputation that made people step back, lock doors, and look away. Curtains shifted in windows. A dog stopped barking. Even the birds seemed to pause. But then, rising above the growl of steel and leather, came something that stopped every one of those men cold. A small voice. Shaking. Soft. Carrying the weight of something no child should ever carry. "Sir, please, would you buy my bicycle?" The lead rider cut his engine. Then the others. Boots hit pavement one by one. Standing at the edge of the sidewalk was a little girl, maybe 7 years old. Her name was Lily. Her hair was pulled into an uneven braid, her dress clean but faded, her shoes telling a story her smile was trying hard to hide. Beside her stood a small red bicycle with a yellow ribbon tied to the handlebar. In her hands she held a piece of torn cardboard with 2 words written in crayon. For sale. The biggest rider, a man they called Stone, crouched down to her level. His knees hit the concrete, chrome glinting behind him like the world was watching. And when he looked at Lily's face, he saw something that cracked something open inside him. It wasn't sadness exactly. It was the look of someone who had already thought through every other option and decided this was the only one left. Beneath a large oak tree a few yards behind her, a woman lay propped against the trunk. Thin. Pale. Wrapped in a jacket that was too light for the cooling air. That was Lily's mother. Her name was Diana. Stone asked Lily quietly what was going on, and she told him. Not all at once and not without stopping to breathe, but she told him everything. Diana had worked for 3 years at a logistics company run by a man named Gerald Pratt, a local businessman whose name appeared on donation plaques and community boards all over the city. When the company restructured, Diana was let go without warning, without severance, without even a proper goodbye. She had gone to Pratt personally, explained her situation, told him she had a daughter and no savings, and just needed a few more weeks. He told her that business was business, and that she should have planned better. That was 6 weeks ago. Since then, Diana had grown too ill with stress and hunger to recover fast enough to find new work. The kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from one bad night, but from months of carrying fear alone. She had too much pride to knock on neighbors' doors, and too much love for her daughter to let Lily see her fall apart. So Lily had come up with her own plan. She would sell the one thing she owned that someone might actually want. Here is something real about the human mind. Psychologists call it the bystander effect. The more people who witness someone in need, the less likely any single person is to help, because everyone assumes someone else will step in. But the moment one person moves, really moves, others follow. Stone didn't know the term. He just knew what he felt. He reached into his vest, counted out enough bills to cover groceries for a month, and pressed them gently into Lily's hands. "Keep the bike," he told her, his voice low and rough in the way voices get when someone is fighting to stay steady. Then he stood up and looked at his crew, Rex, Boone, and a quiet man named Cal. They had seen that look on Stone's face once or twice before. Nobody needed to say a word. They couldn't just leave. Because what happened to Diana wasn't just bad luck. It was a choice someone made. And that choice had a name and an address. Gerald Pratt's office was in a glass building in the center of town, the kind of place designed to remind you of the distance between those inside and those out. The 4 men walked through the front doors like weather coming through a window someone forgot to close. The lobby went quiet. Pratt was visible through his office wall, talking on the phone, relaxed, unbothered, and completely unaware that accountability was walking toward him in leather boots. Stone didn't raise his voice when they entered. He placed the small cardboard sign on Pratt's desk. Flat, deliberate, letting the silence do the work. Pratt looked at it, then at them, then back at it. Stone told him about Lily standing on that sidewalk trying to sell her bicycle for food. He told him about Diana under the tree. He didn't dress it up or make it dramatic. He just said the truth plainly. And sometimes, plain truth is the loudest thing in a room. Pratt tried to explain. Business decisions, restructuring, the difficulty of keeping everyone employed. But there is a particular kind of silence that has no patience for comfortable excuses. And Stone's eyes held exactly that. Nobody touched Pratt. Nobody threatened him. But every person in that room understood something important. Respect is not given to a title. It is earned by what you do when no one powerful is watching. Stone said one thing before they left. You cannot buy your way back to being a good person, but you can start making better choices right now. What happened next, the town talked about for a long time without fully understanding it. Pratt anonymously arranged for grocery deliveries to several struggling families in the area. He quietly cleared the outstanding medical bills of 2 single parents who had worked for him. He reached out to Diana directly, offered her the job back with back pay, and this time he did it privately, without a camera or a press release nearby. People speculated about what changed him. Most assumed it was guilt finally catching up. A few guessed there was more to the story. Only 4 men and 1 little girl knew the real version. When Stone and his crew came back to the oak tree that evening, Lily ran toward them with her bicycle ribbon flapping behind her. Diana was standing now, still fragile, but upright and present in a way she hadn't been in weeks. The light was doing that thing it does at the end of a long day, making everything look a little warmer than it actually is. And maybe that was just right for that moment. Diana tried to find the words. Stone didn't let her finish. You don't owe anyone anything, he said. Just promise you'll keep going. They sat together as the sky shifted colors. 4 bikers, a woman slowly coming back to herself, and a little girl with a red bicycle and a yellow ribbon, eating bread someone had brought from a bag on one of the bikes. The cardboard sign sat in the grass nearby. In the quiet, it was easy to forget that the world could be hard. That forgetting, even for an hour, is sometimes exactly what people need to find the strength to keep going. Here is the lesson written between every line of this story. Hardship rarely announces itself. It shows up in worn shoes and faded dresses and cardboard signs held by small hands that shouldn't have to hold them. The people who look the most intimidating are not always the ones to fear, and the ones with polished offices and public smiles are not always the ones to trust. Compassion is not a personality type. It is a decision. And decisions, unlike circumstances, are always within reach. One person choosing to stop changes what everyone else believes is possible. That is not a small thing. That is how the world shifts, one ordinary Tuesday at a time.